It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. What are we talking about? We are talking baseball only on losses above replacement today, boys and girls. My Braves are out. Alex's Mariners have been out. Mac's Mets are moving on to the National League Championship Series for the first time since 2015. How are we doing, fellas?
I don't like the fact that we now have the hierarchy of I'm not there. You got out of it and you're still in this. Like, I hate that where that puts me on the hierarchy.
Yes.
But I'm doing good. Started my new job, so that's why we're recording at different times. I'm loving it, having a good old grand time. But man, it still sucks not watching Mariner baseball in October. I've now though played more baseball than the Mariners in October by going to 2 pickup games.
Solid.
Yeah. I got to go to an LDS game 3, which was electric. My first NLDS game in 18 years. So that was a lot of fun. Shout out to my friend who got me that ticket. That was pretty fun. And other than that, like Splash said, the Mets are moving on to the NLCS. I'm pretty. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm at this point, everything's gravy. The Mets advance, the Mets make the World Series. Great. If they don't, it is what it is. I've had a lot of fun this year. So, yeah, we're chilling over here.
Yeah, I had probably the worst week of my life, but we are proceeding. Yeah, we will get into that in a little bit. So, anyways. Baseball was played. There were 4 wild card series. Three of them ended in sweeps. Only one game 3 was played up in Milwaukee. We are into the ALDS, NLDS. One series is over. Of course, the Mets are going to the NLCS. As of right now, up to the minute analysis here for a podcast that you won't hear until the next morning. Tigers lead 2-1. Yankees lead 2-1. Yankees lead over the Royals. Tigers lead over the Cleveland Guardians, and the Dodgers currently are winning game 4 to tie up the series against San Diego. The Mets advance 3-1 over the Philadelphia Phillies. So, fellas, 3 words only on the wildcard series to start. Then we will jump into our LDS reactions. Mac, I will start with you, not with your Mets, but with your hated rival, the Atlanta Braves. They traveled to San Diego for a 3-game set, a quote-unquote 3-game set. They were swept. Padres 2, Braves 0. What are your 3 words from that series?
I mean, my 3 words are, all strung out. That's what the Braves were, really. I mean, this is a team that got beat up all year with injuries. And, just like the Mets, they had to play those 2 games on Monday. But this time, the Braves were not able to throw their ace out there. Chris Sale was unavailable due to a back problem. They just used Spencer Schwellenbach the day before. They basically, put everything out there just to make it into the big dance, including expending all of their bullpen arms. So really, they looked beat up, and it showed right from the first inning. I mean, they had to start A.J. Smith-Shawver in the first game of a wild card series. So that's my takeaway there. The Padres, I think, were the better team, but I think the Braves, had they had a few more of their guys, or if they hadn't had to play that Monday, they may have had more of a chance.
Yeah.
All right, Alex?
Yeah, my 3 words for this are Padres stay hot. The Padres have been one of the hottest teams over the last several months next to the Detroit Tigers. We'll talk about them in a little bit here. But again, it was just the perfect situation here for the Padres. Here, like Max said, you had the Braves that had to do everything they could just to get into the dance there. And, I don't blame them either. Like, if I would rather have the chance and then come up short than never get the chance at all, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes sense of what was going on, but when you put together, strung out team plus one of the hottest teams in baseball, you get a series sweep on that one.
Yeah. My 3 words are end of sale. The Atlanta Braves had the sale all season, comes crashing down in mid-September. Last time Chris Sale started a game was September 19th. The Braves said he's going to start whenever the Braves are facing elimination. They faced elimination, game 162, and about 5 minutes later, Mark Bowman's like, Sale's not going. He has back spasms. He's left off the NLDS or NL wildcard roster, and it's just kind of backbreaking there. That maybe if Sale goes in game one, you're not having to pitch like Jesse Chavez and Daysbel Hernandez and Aaron Bummer and AJ Smith-Shawver. Like you're pitching your higher leverage bullpen arms, right? Granted, he had pitched twice the previous day, so there's a caveat there that the Braves didn't have it lined up in any way, shape, or form. But it was just kind of the microcosm of the season. You lose Strider for the entire season. You lose Murphy for the first 2 months, and he's not great the rest of the way. You lose Harris for a large chunk of the season. You lose Albies for a large chunk of the season. You lose Riley for season-ending injury, and of course, you lose Ronald Acuna for a season-ending injury. Fried felt like he was injured the entire year, dealing with inadequate stuff. Ronaldo Lopez went on the IL twice. It's just one of those years, and it's just a testament to how tough baseball is and how grateful I am that there's the 91 to 05 Braves with all those division titles in a row, because you're never going to see that again. Like, simply put, the Astros went to 7 straight ALCSs from 17 to 23. That's not even halfway to how long the Braves won the NL East / West, because they were the West. Yes, Atlanta in the West makes a lot of sense, geography. So Padres were the better team. They are arguably the most talented team in baseball when you have the Darvishes and the Musgroves on the mound. And after their deadline moves to boost the bullpen, they have Tatis back. That's a loaded team. If you're just starting from day one, if you started a game one day or 162 game season today, they might be the best team, but who knows? So Alex, we'll go to you. Your 3 words on Mets 2, Brewers 1.
My words on this one are grimace is real. Like, legitimately at this point right now, I don't think there's anything more we can really say about the Mets on this other than the fact that every superstition is coming true right now when it matters most. So it feels like it's a storybook at this point right now. And I have not seen more grimace on my timeline since the day he threw out that first pitch. And it is honestly hilarious at this time now, and who knows, I might be talking about that a little bit more when we talk about the Mets.
Yeah, so my 3 words are respect Polar Bear. Man, I swear, all year it was, Polar Bear this, Polar Bear that, Pete Alonso isn't, he's not coming through. Everyone wants to rag on Pete Alonso when, I tweeted before the game because it was potentially going to be his last game as a Met that, Pete Alonso has objectively been a good baseball player over his Mets tenure. But, the whole contract year and, his struggles with runners in scoring position this year in particular, everyone's dogging on Pete. Mets fans, other baseball fans, doesn't matter. For some reason, everyone has it out for Pete Alonso. And he had his Mets legacy squarely on the line in that 9th inning. I remember at first he missed that pop-up. Brewers fans, kind of laughed in his face and whatever. And we were like, oh my God, is that the way Pete Alonso's Mets tenure is going to end? And then, Lindor gets on. It's like, oh man, is Alonso going to make the last out? That's going to be the end of his Mets tenure. Everyone's dreading the worst all of a sudden, Nobody's expecting Pete Alonso to come through. And he gets that 3-1 changeup from Devin Williams, sends it over the fence for a 3-run homer. Probably the biggest swing of his career. But my whole point is put some respect on this guy's name. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is probably the best power hitter in franchise history. But yeah, it was an awesome moment. And I feel like he's relieved. We're all relieved. And now we can finally put this bit to bed that Pete Alonso isn't a good player.
All right. I have 2, gonna go rapid fire here. Number 1 is Freddie Freeman moment. And number 2 is in play runs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was walking to work when Alonso comes to the plate. I'm just running through the most Pete Alonso way for this to end is either a double play. That's the last at bat he takes as a Met, or a 3-run homer. He hits the 3-run homer. I saw the in-play runs. It's like this. There's no way this is just like a single or a sac fly. This is a 3-run homer. And his Freddie Freeman moment, I'm referring to Freddie Freeman taking Josh Hader deep, game 4 of the 2021 NLDS, left on left, takes him deep. They win 5-4. He leaves in the offseason. I think there's a reasonable chance Alonso leaves. I think the Mets.
agree.
We can have this conversation another time, but the Mets are a smart organization, and David Stearns probably isn't going to pay a first baseman. I understand a legendary power hitter, retire 20. I get that. Absolutely. But he's a first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Mets are going to figure something out, but that's an unbelievable swing. And there's 3 teams of destiny left: the Padres, the Tigers, and the Mets. Alonso's had his Kodak moment. Lindor has had multiple Kodak moments. Brandon Nimmo had his Kodak moment in game 161. And the Mets. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah,
Unbelievable
they
stuff.
just do it, you know?
One could say, OMG, the Mets.
Yes.
OMG.
That would have been a great, oh my God, it would have been a great 3-word segment.
That would have been a really good one, but that one we're saving that for when they win the World Series.
Hopefully,
Exactly.
I don't know if I hope for that to happen. Well, no, I won't be rooting for every American League team over the Mets. I'm sorry, Mac. I am rooting for you if you face the Padres, though. So you can take solace in that. I rooted for you against the Phillies. So progress. All right, I'm going to jump actually to the Tigers. Tigers 2, Astros 0. My 3 words are Josh Hader crumbles. The highest paid reliever in the history of the sport, based on some calculation. I know he and Diaz went like back and forth with it. Based on one metric, he's the highest paid. One metric, Diaz is the highest paid. Listen, Josh Hader, when you're the highest paid reliever in the history of the sport, you got to come through in these situations. You don't let Andy Ibanez take you to the woodshed. Why are the Tigers beating you in Houston twice? You didn't even take them to game 3. It was Tarek Skubal. Okay, understandable. You lose to Tarek Skubal. He's the best pitcher on the planet. Defensible. You're the better team, but defensible. I don't even know if the Tigers are a good baseball team. I don't know. I do not know. They might be a mirage. But guess what? They are 27 outs from going to the ALCS. I don't know. But good Lord, Houston. You pay this bullpen. You have Presley and Abreu and not Stanek. He's on the Mets. No.
Yeah, he is.
He's on the Mets,
Closed out last night's game.
Yes. You have this great bullpen. Phillies. We're gonna have the same conversation here in a minute. By the way, you have this great bullpen, and when it matters, you start pooping your pants against Andy Ibanez. Can you be serious for a moment? Yes, I'm mad that I picked you to win the World Series both preseason and on our show last week. Be serious for a moment. Mac, your 3 words. Tigers 2, Astros 0.
I mean, my 3 words are Hinch always right. AJ Hinch facing his old ball club, felt like every button he pressed went the right way. I mean, first, Tarek Skubal was fantastic in game 1, really. But it was like, you go into game 2 and you're like, all right, you win with Skubal, but there's no way that you win with the bullpen game, right? Against the Astros, like all those boppers in that lineup. But literally, it did not matter who pitched for them. They got it done. I mean, sure, I question bringing in Jackson Jobe, his 3rd big league game into the 7th inning of a 1-run game? Absolutely. But despite the fact that he got really unlucky, they only scored 2 runs. Mm-hmm. And then you went out and scored 4 runs the next inning, including, like you're saying, Andy Ibanez. I'm sure everyone expected Andy Ibanez to come through with a big hit against Josh Hader in the playoffs. Just at the beginning of the year, 100%. I definitely thought that was going to happen. But, you play the platoon matchup there. You go to Ibanez. He gets a bases-clearing double against Josh Hader. I mean, it was literally, and it did not matter who pitched, like I said. The Tigers were locked in. And, AJ Hinch, there's a method to the madness, I guess. You have Tarek Skubal and then a whole lot of chaos, and they find ways to win games, as we've seen in the ALDS so far. So shout out to AJ Hinch, man. Taking down your old ball club in your old haunt, that's pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
All right, Alex, the moment's yours, pal.
All right, my 3 words are, I called it! So go back to the last podcast that I was on here talking about predictions for it, and I said directly, and I paraphrase quote here, that the Tigers will win it in 2 or the Astros win it in 3. And I said the more likely outcome that I'm saying with this is that the Tigers are going to win it in 2. because they're going to have a dominating start in the first game from Tarek Skubal. He did exactly that, although nobody is surprised. That's like betting that 2 + 2 will equal 4. But what I wanted to bring in here, and this is like I've seen time and time again, when you are down 1-0 in these best 2 out of 3 series, the mentality shifts a lot more than you would think. In a lot of these in a best out of 5 or whatever, you can lose 1 and feel okay. You can lose 1 because it's like, okay, I just can't lose 2 more, right? You can still try to get a little bit of momentum. In a best 2 out of 3, all the cards are on the table. And when you have arguably the best starter in the game going game 1, and he delivers fully into that game 2, suddenly your shoulders feel a little heavier. Suddenly your body starts to feel a little more sluggish, just trying to get things going. And that's exactly what happened for Houston. They had one big inning. That was the 7th inning where they got 2 runs. 2. They led in this game for a grand total of less than half an inning. As the Tigers had 1 run in the 6th and 4 in the 8th inning. The Tigers went into your home and dominated. See you next year, Houston.
Oof, Cook. All right. I will kick us off with the Royals and Orioles series. My 3 words. This is 10 years of history in the making right here, right now. My 3 words are Jeremy Guthrie Redux.
Oh, no.
These O's ain't royal. They're still not royal. Bang, bang, bang. Jeremy Guthrie, you're still the king. Royals, 2. Orioles, zilch, zippo, nada. Orioles, what are we doing? You win 101 games last year. You crash out. You get swept by the Rangers. They win the World Series. This year, you get dunked on by the Kansas City Royals. By the way, you guys know the Royals lost 106 games last season. 106. They are not only in the playoffs, they were in a dogfight today with the Yankees. They're 2 games away from the ALCS, and they would be hosting the ALCS, by the way, against the Tigers. If they were to play the Tigers. If they play Cleveland, it would be in Cleveland. But regardless, these O's ain't royal. Shout out Jeremy Guthrie.
That's a heck of a shirt. I'll tell you that much. That is absolutely a heck of a shirt.
Shout out to Lord as well.
True. Very true. All right. I'll go next on this one here. And my thing for this series is Division of Legend. This division. What do you say about it at this point? The AL Central going into this year, a lot of people considered it's like you're going to have a problem getting one team into the playoffs. Here, you knew you were going to have one, obviously, because that's how playoffs work. But having more than one, let alone 3 that are now all in the ALDS, that is insane. They are I need to change my word for a sec. Division of Destiny is what I was trying to say. They are the Division of Destiny right now. The fact that you are now in the ALDS and the only team that is not from the AL Central is the New York Yankees, right, is insane to me. And the fact that now, if, again, big if, obviously, if Kansas City gets this done, if Kansas City does this and they beat the Yankees, that means we will have a guaranteed American League Central team in the World Series. Absolutely insane. And you know what? At this point, I'm all about it. As a Mariners fan, you know what? Let chaos reign.
Yeah, so I'll go straight up with my 3 words. The birds are sleeping. I don't know what's going on with the Orioles. That was just an abysmal showing by their offense. You leave 7 men on in game 1, you get shut out. You leave 9 more men on in game 2, you score 1 run. Most series, if you give up 3 runs in 18 innings, you should be able to win the series. The Royals scored 3 runs in 18 innings. They left 12 men on in game 2, and they won the series. I don't know what happened with Baltimore. Their bats completely fell asleep. It feels like everyone except for Cedric Mullins in game 2, at least, that home run. But, I mean, they had so many opportunities to get on the board, and they just did nothing with them. I don't think the Royals were particularly good this time. You know, their bullpen was fantastic. Their bullpen didn't allow a single run, but I can't help but think that for Orioles fans, this season was a disappointment. It was kind of a failure. So the Orioles took a step back this year. I mean, I don't think anyone expected 100 wins again, but to be bounced in the first round by a team that, you know, barely snuck into the playoffs and lost 106 games last year, I don't know what else to say. And I'm really curious to see how the Orioles attack this offseason, because this year, like I said earlier, feels like they fell flat.
And this, to me, is an interesting case study because you look, 2023, the Orioles were 45 games better than the Royals. In the playoffs, they were 0 games better than the Royals. This year, that gap closes significantly, and the Royals win the playoff series. And look, we can all applaud Mike Elias and co. for building a great team, building a team that wins a lot of regular season games. But the Orioles are 0-5 in the playoffs now.
Like, lost 10 straight playoff games dating back to 2014.
Right. This isn't you look at the Braves and the Dodgers, for example. At least they've won playoff games. They've disappointed. They at least won playoff games. The Phillies this year, at least they won a playoff game. The Dodgers are at least won 2 this year. The Yankees at least won 1, and at least in 2022, they advanced to the ALCS. Just, we can talk about, okay, it's great. You got Adley and Gunnar and, Santander and you Burns, and you have all these great players, but at some point you actually have to win games in October. And, as a fellow Baltimore Bird fan, as a Ravens fan, you're calling for John Harbaugh's head when they lose in the playoffs again. And John Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl, and the Ravens have actually won playoff games, plural, in the Lamar Jackson era. And the Orioles aren't playing 1-game series. They are playing longer series. 3 games last year, 2 games this year. They're 0-5.
I do want to bring up real quick, though, that I almost feel like the expectations were set a little too high on the Orioles this year. And that's purely, well, hear me out, right? Okay. Last year, they took a huge jump, right? Nobody was expecting them to make that big of a jump.
Fair.
I think this was the year that either you're going to see, are they going to continue that pace, or are they going to kind of come back more down to earth to more of a realistic style of growth? Or just more realistic of where they're supposed to be at this time. Because we know how baseball is. It is so parity heavy that you can have, the 2001 Seattle Mariners win 116 games and then not make the playoffs again for 21 years. That's just sometimes how it be. So honestly, I think I don't want to say we're being too harsh on the Orioles here. I want to say at this point right now, like, you're still dealing with a lot of young guys. Your main stars are young. Let them develop a bit more. And we've already seen that they can play a lot of great baseball. Just give them some time.
Yeah, the tough thing here is that, like, that's the issue with having such a great season like last year, is that it sets a new expectation. And I was talking about this when I was tweeting about Pete Alonso, is that, Pete Alonso had a historic rookie year. It kind of puts a target on your back. The Orioles last year won 101 games with a young core. And so the expectation now is you're going to be great for an extended period of time, and you're going to win the AL East. Nobody's really going to challenge you. This year, the Yankees did challenge them. They actually won the division, and it feels like some of their guys, with the exception of Gunnar Henderson and Anthony Santander, it feels like a lot of their guys took a step back this year.
Oh, Adley was OPS 500 after the All-Star break.
That's the issue. Like, Adley Rutschman was a big reason why they were succeeding. And to your point, he completely fell off. This was a team that at one point had the best record in baseball, and they played sub 500 ball the rest of the year. So I think it shows that this is a good team. They're very talented, but they still have a long way to go if they want to actually contend going forward, or contend for a World Series, that is.
Yeah. And I think there's certainly a transition period between like the hot shot young team and becoming that mature, like, playoff contender. And sometimes like the Astros, for example, 2015, they make the playoffs. 2016, they did not. They took a step back. 2017, they go win the World Series. You can look at the Braves. 2018, they're too young. They make the playoffs and they get whacked by the Dodgers. 2019, they're back in the playoffs. It looks like a much better team. They get whacked in the playoffs by the Cardinals. So, you have to take your lumps in a lot of ways. And sometimes you miss the playoffs and sometimes you just get whacked in the early rounds of the playoffs. And it's going to be interesting to me if the Orioles think this season was a victory because they made the playoffs, they were competitive with the Yankees, they hosted playoff games. That's, no small feat. Or are they going to try to, David Rubenstein this and say, hey, let's spend some money. Let's re-sign Corbin Burns. Let's re-sign Anthony Santander. Or if we don't re-sign those guys, make competitive offers for them at least and go get, top options in free agency. Go get a Pete Alonso to play first base. Now, granted, he'd get kind of killed by the wall, but go get a left-handed hitting first baseman maybe, right? Or a switch hitting first baseman. Go get pitchers. Go get the Max Frieds and the Blake Snells on the top of the market here.
One, yeah.
And the funniest part is we were all complaining about the pitching. It's like Corbin Burns and who? Well, guess what? The who showed up. Corbin Burns showed up. Corbin Burns dealt. I know he got the loss. He dealt.
He pitched into the ninth inning. Yeah.
Yeah. For the first time in his career. Funny enough. Zach Eflin dealt. The bullpen dealt. They allowed 3 runs in 18 innings, like you said. And you lost because the offense scored 1 run. And none of us saw that coming. This is very, 2023 Braves, kind of. It's like, oh, the offense, no issues with the offense. Now, the pitching, we have problems with the pitching. Oh, nope, they just stopped scoring runs. Why? I don't know. And I know it's a small sample size. You only have the 5 games in 2 years, but it's not a fire Brandon Hyde thing or change big things, but you got to figure something out because you have the next 12 months for Baltimore is going to be very stressful because the regular season does not matter.
So one thing I want to kind of address in what you're saying here about, do you take this as a win or do you take this as a sign of, okay, we're this close, keep going? Mm-hmm. Do both. Yeah. You can be happy with how this season turned out, the fact that you did play this well overall, but also be able to be cognizant of, okay, we are this close. We did really well. What do we need to do to get over the hump? Yeah, that's just a good, successful mindset.
I do think it's a question of, if the spectrum is rest on your laurels, you did well enough, try it again next year, versus make changes, add new pieces. Where do they land on the spectrum? Do you land on the blow everything up and go crazy? Which no, you don't do that. You don't have the roster that would even facilitate that because you have so many young players. But is it a case of do you just let Gunnar go into year 3 and Adley go into year 4? Do you let that happen, or do you supplement and you add pieces? And I don't think they're going to get Juan Soto, but you add Christian Walker. I'm just going to plug him into every team that could need a first baseman because he's amazing. The Nationals need Christian Walker or Pete Alonso. I'm just throwing that out there, and they should sign Corbin Burns. But that's a story for the offseason. Yeah, that's just where the Orioles land on that spectrum is going to be one of the big stories of the offseason to me.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
If they let Corbin Burns leave Baltimore, I think there's a problem.
They're going to be trying a very interesting strategy if they do that, where they will be going 100% in on offense and then saying, what the heck is a fastball? And they won't know what to do with the pitching side of things.
Yeah, and look, they'll have Grayson Rodriguez next year. He was
Felix
hurt
Bautista,
for most.
He's coming back.
Yeah, Bautista's going to be back, but that's the other thing. I mean, their bullpen was like a revolving door down the stretch. I mean, once Kimbrel started to crater, it was all right, maybe Yenier Cano can be the closer. Then Cano was struggling as the closer. All right, let's try Sir Anthony Dominguez. And then Dominguez was good for a couple weeks. And he finished with an ERA over 4 actually with Baltimore this year. Maybe Gregory Soto can get some reps. So they have a lot of work to do, especially on the pitching side. But I do think that a full season of G-Rod, if he stays healthy, he could be the ace. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to re-sign Corbin Burns, or go out, get somebody. I'm not saying you necessarily have to, get a big ticket pitcher. You don't have to sign Fried necessarily or Flaherty or, who knows what. Then again, we saw what happened the last time Jack Flaherty was on the Orioles. So maybe don't do that.
Good point. I do feel like Baltimore screams get a great lefty. because the way the ballpark plays, that even if you face a bunch of righties, it's hard to hit home runs out there, and Fried doesn't allow many home runs to begin with. So go after Snell, go after Fried, go after these top lefties, and
I wonder what Josh Sanders could be doing.
Taking checks from the Astros.
It's okay.
Right.
The Orioles traded for a lefty at the deadline, Trevor Rogers. He got sent to the minors, so
stinky.
I don't know.
Oof.
Well, one team that is not getting sent to the minors, they're just getting sent to Cancun, is the Philadelphia Phillies, the only team so far to be eliminated from the league division series. What are your 3 words on the Philadelphia Phillies flaming out of the playoffs? Mac, we will start with you because your team did the what did they do? Tell me what
they did the job.
They did the job. If you say OMG for your 3 words, you're getting kicked, by the way.
Well, luckily, those were not my 3 words.
Wonderful.
My 3 words are someone help Bryce. Okay, I'll preface this by saying Nick Castellanos did a great job this series. But, a lot of the blame is going to go on the bullpen. The bullpen, I mean, Jeff Hoffman got charged with loss in 2 of the games. He came back out for a second inning today. Clearly did not have it was. Carlos Estevez, for some reason, threw 27 pitches in a game he was already down 4 runs, then gave up the grand slam to Lindor. But really, outside of Harper and Castellanos, the offense looked lifeless. Like, seriously, they were just completely. I mean, I don't even know how else to put it. Schwarber hit that leadoff home run. He got 2 hits in the first game, didn't get a hit the rest of the series. Bryson Stott had that big hit against Diaz. I mean, he seems to own Edwin Diaz, but nobody else really. Really, I think it's still on the offense. They're not coming through. I mean, they scored the 1 run on the Vientos error today, but they had an opportunity to put the game further out of reach, and they didn't do it. So, you can't just rely on Harper and Castellanos if he's hot. I mean, Real Muto was a no-show. Bohm was a no-show. Bohm got benched. Their combination of Weston Wilson and Brandon Marsh and Cody Clemens, I mean, they all looked lost. Cody Clemens couldn't hit a fastball. That 9th inning, he came up as the tying run, swung through a couple of fastballs down the middle. So, yeah, this is a team sport. Unfortunately, 1 or 2 guys can't win you a game. This isn't basketball. So that's my takeaway there.
All right, Alex, what say you on the Phillies?
For the Phillies on this one, I'm just going to – my 3 words are the hell's momentum. There was no momentum, but see, they looked outmatched from the word go. Like, yes, there was the home run by Schwarber, but after that, there was nothing. Legitimately, look at this. It's kind of interesting to me. You look at the 4 games that were played of this series, only 1 of those games had a run differential of less than 3. And that was the one game that they won 7-6. Here. They did not have they just looked outmatched the whole way through. And like you're talking about, like, okay, cool, they got some stuff going early, but then it just kept sputtering. You just couldn't capitalize on it. A couple guys did. Again, you talked about this. Harper, Castellanos did well. But you can't win a game. You can't win a series with 2 players. You need more wins than that to make it to the next round. So, just the hell's momentum.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off your point here. My 3 words are karma says hello. The last 2 seasons, Philadelphia Phillies fans were on social media yapping, oh, the Braves are complaining about the layoff. It's just because the hitters suck and the hitting coach sucks and the team sucks. The Phillies are the kings. Then your team gets the layoff. You don't have to play meaningful games the last couple weeks in September because you clinched the division. You clinched the top 2 seed. You don't have to play Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And you show up, and what do you do in the playoffs? Ooh, what's that smell? What is that smell? Oh, my goodness. When 7 of your 9 players in the lineup stink up the joint. Harper was great. Castellanos was great. What are you doing? And the bullpen laid an egg. Zach Wheeler was great. Nola did Nola things. He was fine. Ranger Suarez, he and Ian Anderson are prancing together in Cancun now as the kings of the playoff plot armor. I don't know how Ian Anderson has a playoff ERA of 1.26, but Ranger Suarez 1.43 playoff ERA. That's the 9th best with his number of innings ever. Bullpen, I was told the entire season, best bullpen in the NL East. It's better than Atlanta's bullpen. Then show something. Show me. You were using your high leverage arms. You're using all-star Jeff Hoffman. You're using Carlos Estevez. You're using Matt Strahm. And these guys are getting whooped. Jeff Hoffman had a infinity ERA after game 1. Infinity. You know how hard that is to go 3 batters and not record an out? This isn't a case of like 1 pitch walk-off home run. This is a case of allowing 3 batters to reach and all of them score. Or you don't record an out at least. So goodness gracious, Phillies. Join us in Cancun, buddy. Oh,
yeah, seriously, God. I was shocked at how badly their bullpen performed. I mean, Zach Wheeler pitched a great game in game 1. I was like, all right, Wheeler locked in. I don't know if the Mets can win this game. Then Jeff Hoffman came in. I was like, all right, Jeff Hoffman, all-star reliever. I'm not expecting much here. The Mets just attacked him. Then they go to Matt Straub, also an all-star. Attacked him too. And even that game that they won, Vientos hit a game-tying homer off of Straub. Mm-hmm. It's the bullpen, frankly, I mean, they had their chances to keep the Mets within reach too. I mean, bases loaded, none out in the 5th in game 3. It's bases loaded, 2 out. Marte gets a 2-out hit. Then Alvarado got into trouble. Again, 2 outs, nobody on. Oh, bases loaded. All of a sudden, Iglesias comes through. And also, like I said earlier, why was Carlos Estevez in the game when it was already 6-2? You made him throw 27 pitches unnecessarily. Yeah, I guess, yeah, enjoy Cancun.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did not get the world famous Cancun series between the Mariners and the Braves because the Braves actually braved their way into the playoffs. But the Cancun
the Mariners their way out of the playoffs.
Yeah, so the Ketel Marte series in Cancun, very good.
Oh, it was going to be great.
Yeah, that's a pretty great series.
Actually, no. To be fair, it'd be the Ketel. Could it be the Ketel Haniger series at the very least?
Ketel Rojas series.
I want Haniger in there somewhere. Meach is my boy.
Did he even play for Arizona?
Yes, he did.
He did.
He
came up briefly.
Came to Seattle. Yeah, very briefly. Okay. He came to Seattle as part of that trade deal.
Okay, I was unfamiliar with that. Okay, fair enough. I will take my loss there.
The Ketel Haniger Rojas Cancun series brought to you by Arizona Ice-T.
Brought to you by the man who had JJ Puts with the wrong sound or at the wrong time.
Brought to you by. Yes, exactly. That's not one of my favorite bits. On top of the fact the guy legit show him, he's like, "Yep, that's on me. That was me. I did that."
That's going to the intro, Alex. You don't need one of us to get the clip. Just brought to you by. Please do that. Just rip it from the D-backs broadcast, please. Okay. Speaking of taking losses, my question for you to wrap up our American League playoff talk. The Tigers lead their series against Cleveland 2-1. The Yankees lead their series against Kansas City 2-1. Will we get a Yankees-Tigers ALCS? Yes or no? Mac, go to you. Yes or no?
Yes, 100%.
Alex, yes or no?
Yep.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to lean yes. I think the Tigers blow game 4, but then Tarek Skubal pitches the game of his life in game 5 and screws them over for the ALCS.
I mean,
my no point in this is not based off any fact or any logic, just division of destiny.
Fair.
Right.
Okay. Understandable.
I mean,
I don't know if Kansas City is a good baseball team. That's my hang up.
And same with the Tigers though.
That's that we could have a legitimate ALCS between teams. We might not be good at baseball.
What about just saying that these Yankees ain't royal?
That is not the Lord song, pal.
I'm aware.
Unfortunately, that'd be a good song, but unfortunately,
I'll say that the Yankees, I think, are significantly better than the Royals.
Oh, 100%. I'm not disagreeing with you.
The talent gap between the Tigers and Guardians is way closer than we think it is. And the pitching staff for Detroit is
Cleveland's pitching is suspect.
Here's the thing: regardless of going to be happy, on this point. I want the Tigers to do well just because they're the better story. But the Guardians have also a fun story, but they also have my boy Kyle Manzardo on it. So I am fully... Dude, I love
I didn't get to do my victory lap. Go Broncos, baby. Woo. Ashton Jeanty for Heisman.
He's really good, by the way.
He's averaging 11 yards a carry or something.
But I will say that I've loved watching the Tigers. Actually, I didn't really watch them that much during the regular season. I'll admit it, but something about them. They're young. They play with fire. Their pitching staff feels like everyone throws heat. I mean, pick a name, Tyler Holton, or maybe it's Jason Foley or Bo Brisky or
Will Vest.
Yeah, Sean Gunther. Feels
Jackson
like
Jobe.
Jackson Jobe
pitched well in the playoffs, but Jackson Jobe.
I'm a big Jackson Jobe believer, though. Yeah, it's a really fun team to watch. Even their offense isn't great, but I mean, Spencer Torkelson finally got a hit today. I'm a big Spencer Torkelson fan. So
Kerry Carpenter,
that home run off Clase was electric, by the way.
So one thing I want to bring up here that anyone who has ever watched a sports anime at this point would see that the Tigers are the protagonists.
Yes.
Right now, 100%. They are the scrappy underdogs that nobody believes in, and yet they are coming through and they're playing like it's the last day that they may be playing, because for the high school seniors, it is the last time they'll get to play with their anyway. Sorry, I've watched a little too much Haikyuu and a little too much other stuff.
I'm gonna say this. I do think the Tigers win Game 5 with Skubal. Game 4 is imperative they win, because if they don't have Skubal for Game 1 against the Yankees, I'm going to assume it's the Yankees. Sorry, Kansas City, but I'm going to assume it's the Yankees. They're losing Game 1 and probably Game 2. And then maybe you go back to Detroit and Skubal's on the mound and you get like a historic Skubal start. But this is a must-win Game 4, and I understand it's not an elimination game. It might as well be, because I think if you lose that game, it doesn't matter what Skubal does in Game 5 because you're not beating the Yankee. You need as many Skubal starts as possible. If I'm the Tigers, I would try to start Skubal Game 1, Game 4, Game 7 in the Yankee series. He needs to pitch as many innings as humanly possible in that series, or at least give you 6 in Game 1, 4, and 7. Go throwback on him.
Splash, you're forgetting something, though. You're forgetting
the power of friendship and chaos. I agree with you.
Yes, that, but also the fact that they are the teams of destiny. And you know what's stronger than an Aaron Judge home run or stronger than a Juan Soto home run? Destiny.
What's stronger than destiny? Giancarlo Stanton stealing a base.
That is true. I will 100% agree with you on that one.
I couldn't believe that was real, man.
Which is more shocking? Then we will natural progression to the National League. More shocking: Marcell Ozuna steals 3rd, or Stanton steals 2nd in a playoff game.
Stanton steals 2nd in a playoff game. 100%. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ozuna.
But I gotta go with Stanton. That one.
Okay. I think I watched too much of Ozuna trying to score from first on a double this season to think, well, he's not there. Why is he running? Why am I getting a notification saying he stole 3rd base? I might be biased in that because I saw him run a lot. But I will say the Tigers, a phenomenal watch. I watched them more than the average team because my whole family's from Michigan. Jason Benetti, absolute class. He and Brandon Godden are my favorites. Sorry, Mac. I know SNY is a great crew. I don't happen to enjoy listening to them because they're pro Mets, but they're a great crew. Anyways, National League, the only series left, Padres Dodgers, the Battle of Southern California. It'll probably be 2-2 by the time you're listening to it, unless we have a historic choke, which the Dodgers are not prone, or they're not prone.
It's 8-0.
They're not strangers to it.
They're not strangers. The Diamondbacks, hey, they blew an 8-0 lead and missed the playoffs in large part because they blew that lead. So Dodgers Padres, how does it end? Alex will start.
I mean, there's one thing I do want to say real quick, though, is it's still not as big of a choke job as the Blue Jays in 2022. But that's look, I gotta take my wins when I can get them. All right.
The thing with the Diamondbacks is, they would have been, so if they win that game that they blow the 8-0 lead against the Brewers, they would have been the 5 seed. I think that Padres Diamondbacks series would have been nuts. I will say.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I think the Braves would have had a shot against the Brewers, but then again, the Mets would have gone all out for Game 2 as well.
Yeah.
So then you use Severino in Game 2. So that changes the calculus all around.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll go to what I'm talking about with the last series on this.
Sure.
Right, and honestly, I feel like the Dodgers are going to take this purely because in this game here, the most recent game, then again at the time of recording, this is in the top of the 9th inning at a score of 8-0, Dodgers ahead. Dave Roberts pulled a move that I think at the end of this could have been considered a fireable offense. Here, in an elimination game, instead of going to a starting pitcher, you went to a bullpen day and scratched like 2 or 3 of your starters. So it's like, okay, that's when everything is on the line and you pull that card out. That's an interesting play. And to be fair, since it looks like, again, no, knock on wood, that it's going to work out for them, I think the Dodgers are going to have all the momentum in it. So at that point, I'm taking the Dodgers in this. Like, I think the Dodgers are going to win this, and it is going to make a very fun Dodgers v. Mets NLCS.
Actually going to go in the opposite direction. I still think the Padres pull this out. San Diego, I mean, I think they're too good to let this go. A lot like the Mets, they've been very resilient this year. And they're going to be, I'm assuming they're going to go with Yu Darvish in game 5. Yu Darvish was very good in game 2. And that included a weird 11-minute delay because Dodgers fans decided to be a bunch of bozos. So I gotta go San Diego. I've been high on them all postseason. I would say all year, but I did not pick them to make the playoffs at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like all summer they've been the team of destiny. And I did when we started the postseason, I said the Padres would win the World Series. So I think San Diego has this still.
Yeah, I would pick San Diego in game 5. If they do start Darvish, I get some PTSD from Darvish blowing game 7 against the Astros. In LA, by the way, so you can't do the trash can banging.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So just fair point. But I would get some PTSD from that if I'm a Dodgers fan, which in this case if you're a Padres fan watching Yu Darvish at Dodger Stadium in an elimination game. But I would take the Padres. They rake, 1 through 9. Higashioka, Fernando Tatis might as well be Babe Ruth. Profar has the entire Dodger Stadium. He lives rent free in their heads. I think it's a better pitching staff. I think they're better in every regard. There's nothing besides like having Ohtani. That's the only thing the Dodgers do better than the Padres, I think. And I think, like I said earlier, if you started a 162 game season today, I think the Padres should be number 1 in your power rankings. So I have the Padres winning game 5 in LA to send the Dodgers home, packing for the second time in 3 seasons. Can you believe it? I can. Even though I did pick the Dodgers, but that was more of a I hate the Padres pick, at least in this case. So
yeah, that tracks.
It does track. All right, and now it's time for a somber episode of trivia inspired by my mom. So my mom passed away last week, and it's been a really hard week, but I'm trying to keep a smile on my face and proceed. So I thought I'd honor her with a trivia segment, and it's inspired by her favorite baseball player of all time, number 23, Matt Diaz. I'm aware it's Diaz. I'm sorry, Matt. My mom called you Matt Diaz. So I'm sorry. I'm getting your name wrong. It's intentional. So number 23, Matt Diaz. Your goal, Mac and Alex, you give me players who were number 23 in the majors. You can't say Matt Diaz because that doesn't count. He's the example. So first person to name 23 total. Okay, let me back up. So your goal is to name players who wore number 23 in Major League Baseball. You get point for the number of teams they wore number 23 with. So, for example, Matt Diaz wore number 23 with Atlanta and Pittsburgh, so he would get 2 points. If you pick, Joe Schmo, and Joe Schmo played for 10 teams and he wore 23 with all of them, you get 10 points. So your goal is to do that. You get to 23 points, you win. My mom's favorite number was 23. Her birthday was February 3rd. That's 23. Michael Jordan, 23. LeBron, 23. Matt Diaz, 23. Michael Harris, 23 as well. So shout out to the GOAT. I probably shouldn't have said that because he is a baseball player and a valid answer. But
I didn't hear what you said. No worries, I got you.
okay, fair enough. Alex, please choose a number between 1 and 10.
In the spirit of this, 3 then for 20.
Mac?
I'm gonna pick 2.
All right. I appreciate that. The answer is 7. So Alex?
Alex goes first.
Yes, Alex, you may go first.
I'm gonna go with an easy, and this is 100% coincidental, but I'm getting up because I'm gonna go with Ty France,
Ty France.
where I'm wearing the 23 jersey.
Yes, you are wearing a 23 jersey. That is 1 point for Alex.
I thought he wore 23 with the Padres too.
He wore 11 with the Padres.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
This is according to Baseball Reference. So if he wore 23 in like a spring training game or in some other form, like I remember there was a moment that I thought Matt Olson wore 44 and that he wouldn't be able to wear it with Atlanta, but that was just because he wore it at the home run derby because everyone wore 44.
Oh, right, yeah, everyone did.
It's like, he can't wear 44. I wonder what number he chooses. You idiot! He wears 28. All right, Mac.
I'm gonna go with, I think the first Met I remember wearing 23. I'm going with Brian Schneider.
Brian Schneider. Good pull. MLB Power Pros legend.
Yep.
That counts for 3. He wore it with the Montreal Expos / Nationals, the Mets, and the
Phillies.
So Mac leads 3-1.
Okay.
Alex.
My next one, I'm gonna go with one Boomstick, Nelson Cruz.
Boomstick. That is a great pull. Nelly. Shout out to Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz, very Hall of Very Good player.
Yeah.
He wore 23 for a whopping 5 teams: the Orioles, and the Mariners, and the Twins, and the Rays, and the Nationals. He wore 32 with the Padres, by the way. So Alex, you lead 6-3. Mac, it's back to you.
Okay, I think this guy wore 23 at least once. Fernando Tatis Sr.
Fernando Tatis Sr. He wore 23 with 2 different teams. That would be the, according to his page, it looks like it is the Orioles and the Rangers. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes. Orioles and Rangers. So that is 2 points for Mac. Alex, you lead 6-5. It is your guess.
Yeah, because to be fair, Nelson Cruz is my number one that thought on all that. Okay. Let's go. Oh, duh. Chris Bryant.
I think the Cubs.
He wore 17 and 23.
Yes, I think the Cubs should retire his jersey, 17, by the way. He wore it with the Giants and Rockies. That is 8 points for Alex so far. Mac, back to you.
Okay, I'm trying to dig deep here. I'll go with the guy who wears it right now, David Peterson.
David Peterson came in, pitched today, got big outs for the Mets. He currently wears 23. All right, Alex, you lead 8-6.
Here's the problem. Now I'm just legitimately forgetting anyone who could have ever worn a number. Not just 23, but any number.
Be like that. It do in fact be like that.
I feel like I'm missing this. I might be wrong, and this may be a 0. Did Prince Fielder wear 23?
Prince.
I don't know about that
Prince
one,
Fielder wore 28 and 84.
Dang it.
All right, Mac.
I was just thinking about the Bigs 2 cover. Yeah. I thought I could see the 23 on that. Yeah.
I'll go with David Justice.
David Justice.
No, he was kind of around the block.
Braves legend. Did wear 23. Wore 23 for 3 different teams: Atlanta, Cleveland, and the Oakland A's. Right, so sweet. Mac leads 9-8. Back and forth battle here. Alex, back to you, sir.
Okay. All right. Don't ask me why I remember this one here, but David Freese.
David Freese, a World Series hero.
I believe
wore
he
23
did.
For 2 different teams. That would be the Cardinals and the Pirates. So, Alex, you're back in lead at 10.
Wow. All right. I think this guy wore 23. Adrian Gonzalez.
Agon. An A-bomb from Agon.
Oh, another MLB Power.
That was A-Rod. An A-bomb from A-Rod. So, my bad. 23. Adrian Gonzalez wore 23 for 3 different teams, including the Padres and the Dodgers and the Metropolitans. So Mac leads 12-10. Alex.
God, we're just going back and forth at this point now. Yeah, wow. Like oh, there's no way. No. Okay, so I'll let you know right now. I looked to my left and I saw baseball cards. One of the ones that on there was Wade LeBlanc.
Okay. We will.
There's no way this actually tracks.
Wade LeBlanc
chance.
wore 23 for two different teams. That would be
Okay.
the Miami Marlins and the Baltimore Orioles. So Wade
Okay.
LeBlanc ties it up at 12.
Oh my
Did
god.
not
back.
expect that one today.
I don't deserve to win this. I don't deserve to even be close to this.
Hey, you did pull a 5-pointer.
I did pull a 5
That's the thing.
Yes.
All right, Mac.
I'm trying to remember who wore what number now. That's the thing.
Yeah,
the
because
Dodgers
legitimately
in
now
fact,
it's
did close out Game 4. We will have a Game 5.
Yeah. Man. Trying to remember who wore that number. Yes. I think I got one. Zach Greinke.
Zach Greinke. The man who once batted 8th in a World Series game wore 23 for 3 different teams. The Royals, or actually might be 2 teams. Yes, so overriding, he has 3 different 23s on his Baseball Reference, but 2 of them are Royals. So he wore 23 with the Royals, and he wore 23 with the with the Angels. So that is 2 points for Mac. He leads 14-12. Alex.
okay. Zach Gallen. That just
Zach
came to me as well.
Milk Gallon.
I'm pretty sure it's only a oneer, but
Yes, he does have 2 23 logos, but it is 2 variants of the Diamondbacks. So that's a point, though. Mac leads 14-13, closing in on 23.
All right, 14-13.
Well, this does give me an idea for a spin-off trivia. What did a player wear before their iconic number?
That'd be a good one.
Felix Hernandez is the one that comes to my mind for that.
Yes, or Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Who else wore that number? Let's see. This is. Trying to think if like any team retired that number too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well.
Greinke does have the highest WAR of any player that ever wore 23.
Okay. Yeah. Why am I struggling here?
Yeah, look, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't remember too many more 23s.
Okay.
For those of you wondering, like, why I'm looking down so much here, I just saw my baseball card, so I'm just kind of like, I'm not even looking at the numbers. I can't even see the numbers in almost any of these. Just kind of give some proof. Like, here's like the first card on the top. It's a Braves card for you.
I think I have one. Michael Brantley.
Michael Brantley is a valid answer. He wore it with Cleveland and Houston. So that's 2 points for Mac.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
16-13.
I'm up to 16.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Astros hitting coach now, right? Michael Brantley? Hitting consultant?
Yeah, I was gonna say consultant. I don't think he's coaching yet.
I have an answer for my next one, but I know it's probably only one.
Sure.
The Mariners who wore 23 this year, Luis Urias.
Luis Urias. That
23.
would be a... Thankfully, Baseball Reference has this ability that I don't have to scroll. That is a 1-pointer, Luis Urias.
I knew that was a 1-pointer, but it's a point at the very
All right, Mac, back on the clock.
Okay.
There's some great names here.
Yeah, I'm sure there are, and I'm kind of mad at myself that I'm struggling.
Yeah, same here. Like, I'm having troubles too.
Okay.
You're missing a couple Hall of Famers, a couple of Hall of Very Good players.
A couple of Hall of Famers, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna drive me insane.
One of them doesn't actually help you very much. One of them would be a 3-pointer. That helps a lot.
One of the
That
Hall of
word-
Famers.
Yes, one of the Hall of Famer would be a 3-pointer.
Oh wait, I have a non-Hall of Famer, but Carlos Pena.
Carlos Pena, world fame. Whoa, that glitched out. Carlos Pena is a. One of these days, I'll be able to scroll correctly. Yes, he wore it for 6 seasons. He wore it with Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Mac, you lead 18-14. Alex,
All right,
back
I'm
to
getting
you.
closer.
All right. I'm going to go with an MLB Power Pros legend here. I'm going
Okay.
to go with one Mr. Yonder Alonso.
Ooh.
I don't think he was in MLB Power Pros, but Yonder
Yes, he was.
Alonso.
I guarantee he was.
He
in
came
there.
up in like 2010.
Yeah, came up.
I'm very wrong then, apparently. I
Yeah,
very much.
that is
I
a
remember him.
2-pointer. So fair enough, but no, he was not in the game.
Okay, I need to throw away everything I've ever thought about.
All right, Mac, you are 5 away.
5 away. All right. Okay. Let me think about this. I'm trying to remember who wore what number. I'm trying to think back to my childhood too. Back when I feel like I knew like every player, like what number they wore.
Michael Brantley is tied for second most years wearing 23. Wore it for 15 seasons.
Wow,
It's
that's
a 4-way tie at 15 years.
All right.
And Adrian Gonzalez wore it 12 years.
Yeah, I vaguely remember Aegon doing it. Man, why am I struggling? That's my question.
Here's the thing. I get it though,
Yeah. Okay. I will. Man.
A couple World Series heroes here, a couple Hall of Famers, broadcaster,
Caster.
a couple near Hall of Famers, and one of the most iconic nicknames of all time, and a personal favorite batting stance of mine as well.
Okay. I'll go with. Wait, what? I had a name on the tip of my tongue a second ago. I'll go. I don't know if this guy wore 23 actually. Steve Traxel.
Steve Trash, Orioles legend. He was in MLB Power Pros as an Oriole.
I know he wore 29.
That would be an invalid answer. All right, back to you, Alex. You're down 2, but Mac gave you an opening.
Did give me an opening. I'm about to close that opening real quick because I don't know either.
You may concede if you wish.
No, I'm not going to concede. I'm going to go with one that is. I know it's only a 1-pointer though. It's a current number 23. And That's Michael Harris.
Hey, Michael Harris. Shout out to Michael Harris. Actually, he was balling out in the playoffs. Frankly, Michael Harris. That is correct. You trail by 1. Mac, back to you.
Okay. Trying to think, because fun fact, back in the day, I did write a uniform numbers article about the best Mets to wear each number. So I'm trying to remember the 23.
David Peterson.
I think this guy probably wore it more than once. Gonna go with Michael Kadire.
Michael Kadire, former batting champion.
Yes.
Michael Kadire only wore it with the Mets.
All
right, Mac 19, Alex 17. Back to you, Alex. Got a
all right
NFL legend here.
NFL legend?
Yeah, he has the same name as an NFL All-Pro.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I'm just gonna go with funny answers at this point now. I'm gonna go Deion Sanders.
Neon Dion, world famous for being a head coach now. Deion Sanders is not a correct answer.
Yeah, no, I figured that much.
All right, Mac, back to you. You are 4 points away. There are a couple ways you can win this.
Okay. You go with the guy who I think should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't actually know if he I honestly don't know what uniform number this guy wore, but I'm going to go with Kevin Brown, the pitcher.
Kevin Brown, the pitcher, had a really good 1997 season. Kevin Brown is a correct answer. He wore it with the New York Mets in 1990. You are at 20, my friend.
Kevin Brown didn't play for the Mets.
Okay. That must be a different Kevin Brown then.
Oops.
Okay. I will give you credit because you said Kevin Brown. That's fine. And he did pitch.
All right,
I'll give you credit for that. You lead by 3. 20-17. Alex, can you pull out a boomstick?
I already did.
Try another one.
Nick Swisher.
Nick Swisher. That's a pull. A famous switch hitter.
Yeah,
there was
amazing home run derby participant.
Yes, Nick Swisher wore it with the Atlanta Braves, and that's it.
Oh, wow. I forgot he was on the Braves.
I did too.
I did too.
Mac, you were 3 points away from a dub.
Okay, 3 points away from a dub. Yeah, doing that thinking thing.
As we do.
Again, I'm not sure if this guy actually wore 23, but I was a big fan of his. So Xavier Nady.
Xavier Nady once played baseball.
That's a poll. That is true. He did.
Yes, that is an invalid answer, sir.
Okay.
Alex.
Okay. I was playing I was watching a thing about the bigs earlier. Ryan Sandberg.
He is a Hall of Famer, and he wore 23. Yeah. Unfortunately, his only team was the Chicago Cubs that he wore 23 with.
Yeah. At this point right now, I don't even care about trying to get to multiple points. I just want to hopefully get correct answers.
Yes, that is a good point. Yes, he only wore it with the Cubs. 15 seasons, though. He's second on the WAR leaderboard.
Yeah.
All right, Mac, you lead by 1. You're 3 points away.
Again, not sure if this guy actually wore 23 ever, but Scott Kazmir.
Ooh, making me scroll quite a while here. Right to the middle of the list. Scott Kazmir is a invalid answer. All right.
Okay, I actually have another one here on this one because I saw this guy play here when I went to San Francisco, and that's Jock Peterson.
Jock Peterson, the Pearls, baby, only wore it with one team.
The Giants.
Yes, he wore it with the San Francisco Giants.
I remember seeing that. I was right there.
It's tied at 20. Mac.
All right, now I'm blanking on this. If this guy actually wore it, Jason Giambi.
Rockies legend. Of course, Jason Giambi wore it with the Colorado Rockies only.
Let's go. So I'm at 21.
That's a 1 pointer for Mac. All right, Alex.
Like, again, I'm just trying to think of, like, pitchers I've seen that have worn 23 or, like, a random outfield.
Down 1. There's a lot of random outfielders around. This is prime name some guys territory.
Yeah, 100% no. Okay, at this point now, I'm just going to go with names that I remember from Power Bros.
Sure.
Hideo Nomo. Let's go with Nomo.
Only no-hitter in the history of Coors Field.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the earliest no-hitter until this year. He wore it with the 2000 Tigers.
Wait, he actually did wear it?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah!
That's a tie ball game at 21. Mac, if you get a 2-pointer, you win. If you get a 1-pointer, Alex has a chance. If you get a no-pointer, that would be unfortunate.
Okay, wait. Oh my God, I literally had an answer on the tip of my tongue and I just lost it. So great start here. What was that answer? Javi Baez.
Javi Baez, world famous Tiger, world famous slider, world famous swings at Sister Jean.
Sister Jean's first pitch.
All right, it is 22-21. Alex, you're down 2. You're down 1. You're 2 away from forcing. You went first, so Mac would get a chance to reply.
Answer.
Yes. Ooh. Now's when it's like See, the fun thing you could do is just go with answers that are right now. Even if they're only worth 1 point,
Mhm.
it still gets you close.
Yes. Even a 2-pointer would be nice for you to pull.
A 2-pointer would be quite nice for me to just put the pressure on.
Mhm.
What are just other people? I had a name. It was an MLB Power Pro's name. I was about to say Morris, but it's not Morris. I think he was 45. He was number 23. He was a pitcher. Oh, wait a minute. This is not the name I was thinking of. Different one though. Jake Odorizzi?
Jake Odorizzi. What does that odor smell like? It smells like a Braves legend. Jake Odorizzi wore it just with Tampa. It is tied at 22.
Tied at 22, man.
Mac,
This is as tense as it can possibly get.
A 1-pointer wins you the game, my friend.
I think I have thought of a guy who nearly won a batting title 1 year with the Braves, and best known for succeeding Chipper Jones. I'm going with Chris Johnson.
I thought you were going to say a guy who nearly won the Triple Crown this year. Chris Johnson wore it with the Astros and Braves. That is a 24-22 W for Mac.
I don't know how I pulled that out.
Congratulations.
I don't either.
At one point, Chris Johnson was, in fact, the future. He did not end up being the future.
He hit
by the way,
21 season.
The highest player you missed, rest in peace, Louis Tiant.
Louis Tiant, yeah.
Also, Bobby Abreu, 60 wore it with the Dodgers. Will Clark, Robin Ventura. Ventura would have been a double answer for you, by the way. Tiant would have been a triple answer for you. Most years, Hall of Famer Ted Simmons would have been a 3-pointer.
Simmons, oh, yeah.
Kirk Gibson wore it for 15 years. Willie Horton would have been a 4-pointer. He wore it for 15 seasons. Gooby of the Angels broadcast, Mark Gubitza.
Oh, Gubitza, yes.
Royals and Angels. Don Mattingly, Greg Vaughn, Bernard Gilkey, Eric Karros, Denny LeMaster, Braves legend. Ricky Weeks.
Yeah. Okay,
That's Mariner legend, Mariner outfielder.
That's a name that got away from me. I was thinking of players who I watched growing up, and Weeks was definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm. Also, Don Zimmer.
Don Zimmer, man, that dude was.
And Oil Can Boyd. All right, good job, fellas.
Oil Can Boyd.
Mm-hmm. Well done, Mac. Good job, mate.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, good job, friends. The lowest war, by the way, goes to Doug Flynn, who wore it with the Reds and Mets and Expos. So
Mets legend
Doug Flynn would have been a 3-pointer, negative 6.9 WAR.
I was going to say he was
not nice.
Nice.
He was, he was impressively below average. But
also, Jordan Lyles would have given you a point.
Jordan Lyles, yeah.
All right, and that brings us to everyone's favorite segment. Time to ourselves. I would like to go last so I can close out the show afterwards. Right. Mac or Alex, you may go first.
I'll go ahead if you're not ready. All right, sure. I'm ready to go then. Let's do this.
Sure. Alex,
give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1. Proceed.
Hey there. So for me, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. I honestly, okay, here's what I'm going to say right now. I've struggled with depression a lot in my life, and what's weird is I've done a really good job of managing it now over the last year plus here through the use of medication, therapy, all that fun stuff. But with the turn of the seasons, it always seems to just kind of come back, and it's never fun. But you know what? Hey, again, it's something that we're always working through. That's something you always are just going to have to keep managing. But you know, I'm very blessed to have some amazing friends, to have some amazing family that can really help support me and really help me keep on the path that I know is right, the path that I know that I can do. And when I say friends, as you know, as often as we kind of bicker at times, I definitely do mean, you know, the guys that I do this podcast with. 2 amazing human beings I love getting to work with every week. But legitimately right now, just what I'm going to say to anyone who may be struggling with depression, I promise it gets better. but also if you feel like you need a little help, there's nothing wrong with it asking for a little help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. All right, Mac.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about my experience yesterday. It was awesome, really. I was there sitting by myself. I got to, talk with some cool people just sitting next to me. I think going to a game by yourself, I've learned how to interact with people better. I feel like just making friends with people who are sitting around you. It was pretty cool. Really cool, honestly. Getting to watch the game. Like I said, atmosphere is electric, and I want to point back to a voice tweet I sent back at the end of May after the Jorge Lopez glove toss incident. To think that was this season is insane. At the time, I was having a hard time bringing myself to watching the games because of how the team was playing. It's a long season, 162 games, and here we are. Mets are going to the NLCS. If you told me that back in May, I probably would have thought you were crazy. But yeah, I just want to say this has been really cool. And it's been fun when the Mets are the talk of the town, and I hope that continues for a little while longer. So shout out to everyone who's made that possible.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Hawktua, Grimace, and Seymour Wiener.
Exactly. Oh, they displayed Seymour Wiener, a message from him on the video board yesterday.
Iconic.
I heard about that. Yeah, truly.
Iconic. What a legend.
All right.
Count me down, fellas.
All right. I got you. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
So I would like to thank everyone that reached out with the passing of my mom, all of the friends I had from high school, people that knew my mom, whether that was through me or just knowing my mom, that commented on my Facebook or my Instagram or reached out via text or called me. And it's helpful knowing that you have a strong basis of support, like Alex said, friends and family, and it's heartbreaking, but I'm grateful that I have people in my life that I can go to. I have people that I can call, people I can text, people I can talk to. Feels like any hour of the day, and I'm just gonna miss my mom a lot, and that it doesn't feel real, right? It feels like I should just be able to pull up the favorites in my phone app and just call my mom, right? Or text my mom. I texted her, hours before she passed, and we were talking about the Prince room, the purple room you can rent on Airbnb this month. And it's in Minneapolis, so it wasn't very practical, but I told her about it, so I'm glad that was the last interaction I had with her was on brand. So I'm gonna think about her every day, and every time I watch the Braves or every time I watch the Ravens, she would say Lamar, number 8 is great, or the Colts, actually, Joseph Vincent Flacco, or Boise State, where the turf is blue. So I'm going to miss you a lot, Mom. I've had your favorite foods the last couple days, and teared up when I walked by I will not be eating pork rinds. That is a line I will not cross. I will not be eating pork rinds, but I did cry when I walked past them the first time. And I made her world famous chicken and rice earlier today, and I'm making lasagna tomorrow. So it's something life doesn't prepare you for, and loss is just, they say the only permanent things are death, taxes, and whatever you fill in the blank with. Well, death is permanent, and it sucks. So hopefully I'll see you again one day, Mom, and you can pet the cats and have dinner with Pa and Granddaddy Lewis and your friends that have passed, and I miss you so much. So
I got you, man. Like, I'm not gonna add on too much more to this, but I get it, and we're here for you, man.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. Just feels like I should just type in her phone number and call her right now.
Exactly.
And I can't. probably make my dad cry because the phone. I actually don't know if he's been charging the phone. I don't know if I would, but he'll let me know tomorrow, I guess, when he listens. But all right, that'll do it for episode redacted of the podcast. I'm Splash, joined by Mac and Alex. If you want to see more of us, you can follow us on the Bird app. I am at Mr. Splashman19. You can follow Alex at thesportsguy242. You can follow Mac at Mathias_A_K. You can follow us as a group at LAR_baseball. One of these days, I'll get the outro right. Today will not be that day, unfortunately. We have an Instagram. We have a YouTube. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, drop a 5-star review if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast of choice. Tell a friend. And when you do tell your friend or a loved one, make sure you give them a big hug from me, because my mom would have given you the same thing. So I love you, Mom. Toodles, folks.